What's up, my people? Eddie Ash here, founder and president of the Eradicate Recidivism Project. If you know my story, if you've seen my previous video on YouTube, you know my story. How I was unlawfully arrested and convicted in Springfield, Ohio for possessing and trafficking 500 grams of cocaine. Springfield police literally just put 500 grams of cocaine on me, literally. And they fabricated a probable cause to do that. They also committed perjury to the grand jury and lied to make me culpable in this case. When a person is guilty of a crime, you shouldn't have to go and fabricate a probable cause to arrest them. You shouldn't have to go to the grand jury with perjured statements to get an indictment, to get the prosecution rolling against that person. But that's what the Springfield police did to me. Detective Jason Villa, Detective Jason Osborne, Officer Z. Massey, Sergeant Hoying. It's just a host of police that conspired to deprive me of my rights under the color of the law. They violated my civil rights on purpose, knowingly and willfully did it. And you just see the whole case the way they committed perjury to cover up the fact that they fabricated the probable cause. And like I said, you see my previous video, then you would be up to speed to what I'm talking about now. I appealed my conviction, my 2019 conviction. And the Second District Court of Appeals, to me, made themselves complicit in my deprivation rights under the color of the law. And the reason I know that they did, I feel that they did, is because they ruled against me. They denied my appeal. And if they would have even looked at the evidence that I presented, if they would have even considered my argument, lawfully they couldn't deny my appeal. By law, they should have granted me a hearing because of the evidence that I presented. The evidence that I presented was not accusations. It was not assumptions. It was tangible, material, physical evidence. None of the stuff that I presented was outside of the scope of the investigation. And the Second District Court of Appeals literally ignored the things that I presented. Because like I said, if they would have looked at my argument and considered my argument, they'd have had to grant me at least a hearing. And I'm going to tell you why. The probable cause for my arrest was a turn signal violation. I presented to the Second District Court of Appeals of Ohio the dash cam video of the arresting officer. There's only one documented location of this turn signal violation. Only one. All the paperwork that's concerning this case is only one intersection mentioned as the place where this probable cause turn signal violation occurred. The dash cam video of the arresting officer, State Highway Patrol Chris Coverstone, shows clearly that the driver used a turn signal at the exact location where they said he didn't. Now, if, you know, like I said, you see my previous video, you know, I was a passenger in somebody else's car that was already under the pursuit and the scrutiny of the Springfield police because they suspected of him trafficking 500 grams of cocaine. It's in their paperwork. So I presented this video in my argument that the probable cause against me was fabricated, and they denied my appeal. Like I said, there's no way they looked at the evidence. Because he's looking at the evidence, it draws questions. Hey, we got to at least grant him a hearing because there's some questions that need to be answered. How is it that the documented location of this probable cause, there's a video showing that that probable cause never occurred. But the Second District Court of Appeals in Ohio ignored that. And the most disturbing part about them denying it, like I said, they had no lawful reason. But also the Clark County prosecutor's argument against my appeal. When you file an appeal, the prosecutor has the opportunity to speak against your appeal. They present whatever argument or evidence that they may have to try to persuade the appeals court to not grant the appeal. In this case with Clark County, their argument literally proved that Officer Z. Massey of the Springfield Police Department committed perjury to the grand jury. I mean, literally, y'all. Literally, the argument that the Clark County prosecutor presented to the appeals court proved that Officer Z. Massey committed perjury. And the Second District Court of Appeals, they ignored that as well. That's why I said they could have never, ever looked at the evidence that I presented or considered my argument. Because there's no way you can rule against me when you have material evidence that a probable cause was fabricated. And then you had a Clark County prosecutor themselves proving that that Officer Z. Massey committed perjury to get the indictment. I'm talking about he literally did it. I got the proof. I got the paperwork. In a later video, I'm going to present it. I got the transcripts. I got the prosecutor's argument, and I got Officer Z. Massey's sworn affidavit of probable cause that was submitted to the grand jury. And the Second District of Court of Appeals ignored all of that and just ruled against me with no lawful reason. Now, I'm going to say this. The reason that I believe I wasn't granted a hearing is because if I'd have been granted a hearing, that have made white people culpable for crimes. Now, these people are criminals. Every police officer that's involved in this case. My attorney, Patrick Mulligan, who literally lied and withheld this dash cam video from my knowledge until after. He never really revealed it to me. I found out about it after he coerced me to take this plea deal. They tried to destroy the DVD of the traffic stop. When I got it, it was scratched up. There was 2 DVDs in my case. The traffic stop video, that DVD was scratched to death. It was scratched up, and I was lucky to recover the critical 10 minutes of the traffic stop, the pursuit and the traffic stop. It's a 2-hour-long video. I can only get about 10, 15 minutes off of it. The rest of it was too damaged. So I don't understand how one DVD that I received from this attorney was scratched all to hell, and the other one was, you know, the most critical one of the dash cam video was scratched all the hell. The other one was just, it was fine. It's clear. But for the appeals court to deny me seeing this evidence, like I said, if they'd have granted me a hearing or did what they should have done, they should have overturned the conviction, because you have a probable cause that's clearly fabricated. Then you have the prosecutor themselves proving that Officer Z. Massey committed perjury. He lied to the grand jury to set the prosecution against me in motion. But like I said, the reason that I figured that they didn't do that because it criminalized white people. It criminalized the police. It criminalized the Clark County prosecutor, Lisa Hoyne, who had an obligation when she saw this evidence to dismiss this case. By law, she should have dismissed this case, but she proceeded to conspire with the police to make these lies prevail. They threatened me. I told my lawyer from the very beginning, Patrick Mulligan, I'm not taking no plea deals. I'm not doing none of that, because this is not my drugs. I had nothing to do with it. I was in that man car less than 2 minutes. And this is before I got the discovery and found all the things that I found out, that they was literally in pursuit of this man before I even got in his vehicle, because they suspected him of having these drugs that they found in his car. There's no evidence connecting me to these drugs. Like I said previously in my previous video, y'all need to watch it. But yet and still, they charged me with them and pursued diligently and hardly pursued a conviction when they knew the probable cause was fabricated, when they knew that the Officer Z. Massey committed perjury to cover up that fabrication. The Clark County prosecutor, Lisa Hoyne, did this. Someone named Sergeant Hoyne, which it can't be a coincidence that the prosecutor and a sergeant involved in this case got the same last name. He signed off on the fraudulent statement that Officer Z. Massey submitted to the grand jury. His name is as the supervising officer is on this fraudulent perjured statement. Second District Court of Appeals ignored all that. But like I said, if they'd have granted me a hearing and the truth came out, now it's a black man had the ability or the right to bring charges against white people. That's what I think. I really think it's just a all around prejudice, not just racially, but the fact that I'm a working class man. It's a prejudice against the working class man. We get victimized out here in this system. Get victimized because we see when celebrities and certain people, like my man Donald Trump. Hey, look at him. Don't get it twisted. I'm not anti-Trump. I admire the way he moves, how honest he is when he's honest. He's really something else, man. I don't really have nothing against him because he is who he is. But he got special treatment when it comes to his legal situation. Donald Trump got a courtesy call that he's being indicted. Working class people don't get courtesy calls. We get our doors kicked in. We get embarrassment from them pulling up in front of our house with guns, running in our house, kicking the doors and embarrassing us in front of our neighbors. We don't get courtesy calls to come to the courtroom because we've been indicted. They indict us, then they issue out an arrest warrant and send the police to kick our door in. That's what happens to the working class people in this country when it comes to the legal system. The Second District Court of Appeals is now culpable in the deprivation of my rights under the color of law because they had the obligation to review the evidence and they didn't. Because if they did, by law, they can't rule against me. They had to grant me a hearing. When you got evidence that the proper cause for your arrest was fabricated, and then the prosecutor themselves proved that the officer committed perjury to the grand jury to get the indictment against the person, and you just ignore all of that, because that criminalizes them people. They are criminals. But if the checks and balances of the system don't be applied to them, then they just criminals that get away with their crimes. They committed crimes. They broke the law when they arrested me. They broke the law when they indicted me. They broke the law when they pursued that plea deal. They denied me my right to due process. They violated my right to probable cause. They violated my constitutional right and deprived me of my rights under the color of law, 242, Title 18. They did that. On top of the state law, perjury, and interfering with my civil rights. They did that. And the appeals court seen it and just denied it with no explanation. No lawful explanation, because there is none. Other than you a black man and we're not going to put you in a position to condemn white people. That's what I feel. I didn't ask for no special treatment when I submitted my appeal. And I'm still not asking for no special treatment. Apply the law as it is written to my case. That's it. Apply the law. Police cannot fabricate probable cause. They cannot break the law and uphold the law at the same time. They cannot go to the grand jury and lie to get an indictment, because anything after that is unlawful. If that indictment was obtained through fraudulent statements, that conviction has to be overturned by law. The Second District Court of Appeals literally just with their decisions told me that you don't have no rights. The Constitution don't apply to you. The law don't apply to you when it's on your side, but it applies to you when it condemns you. Because literally in my case, the law is on my side. The evidence is on my side. But long as they could deny it and don't let it get out, then the conviction stands. Not only do the conviction stands, that gives them the green light and the ability to do this to others. Period. And that's what I want to prevent. They need to be held accountable. The Springfield Police Department, every officer that was involved in my case need to be held accountable for the crimes they committed to arrest, indict, and convict me. Patrick Mulligan, my defense attorney, need to be held accountable for the crimes he committed for allowing them to do this, for withholding the evidence that I could have used in my favor. You had a video showing that the probable cause for his client's arrest is fabricated, and he told me that there's nothing he can do to defend me. Patrick Mulligan told me there's nothing he can do to defend me. There's no way he can win this case. If he told me if I went forward with my motion to suppress hearing, that the prosecutor said they're gonna re-indict me as a major drug offender, and I will get 20 years. This is what Patrick Mulligan told me, the shiesty ass attorney out of Dayton. This is what he told me. He told me that there is going to be an all-white, not well-educated blue-collar jury, and those white people are not going to believe you over them white police officers. He said, I've been up against these police officers before, and they're going to lie. They're going to lie. And those white jurors is not going to believe you over them. They're going to believe their lies, and there's no way I could defend you from their lies. Literally, that's what that man said when he had a video to prove that the probable cause for my arrest was fabricated. My attorney had this video. And then when I got wind of it, and I got another attorney, and the attorney, man, contacted him to try to get the discovery, he ignored him for a while until the man threatened to go to the bar on him. Then he sent the discovery, and when he sent that dash cam video, the DVD was scratched all up. 2 DVDs in my case, the dispatch calls and that dash cam video. The dispatch calls DVD was clear, not a scratch on it. But that dash cam video DVD was scratched up. And by the grace of everything that's righteous, I was able to recover the critical 10 minutes that showed that turn signal flashing at the exact location where they documented it said he didn't use one. The Second District Court of Appeals ignored all of that. They ignored the fact that the driver, a man, made a statement against his own penal interest and said that he ain't got nothing to do with that in my car. The Second District Court of Appeals unlawfully never considered my argument and unlawfully ruled against me. They never considered, they never looked at the evidence, because the evidence and the law is on my side. So why am I being denied? They can't, but when they don't have to answer to the things that they do, this is what happens. I'm not the only one that this happened to, but I can prove it. I'm one person that can prove everything that I'm saying about what they did. I got the physical evidence that the Springfield Police Department fabricated a probable cause. I got evidence to prove that they orchestrated this unlawful traffic stop. Shows their malicious intent. They orchestrated this traffic stop. They called the State Highway Patrol and told him, we want you to pull this car before a turn signal violation. It's all in the State Highway Patrol investigation report that they did not submit to the grand jury. And when I presented this evidence to the Second District Court of Appeals, they ignored that. It's proof of malicious intent. They didn't have a warrant to stop this man's car. And I wasn't even in that man's car when they declared they was going to stop it. I wasn't even in the car. At the time, on the paperwork where they said they was going to stop his car, I wasn't in this car. I wasn't nowhere to be found. They didn't know who I was until they pulled that car over and asked for my ID. I didn't have nothing on me to connect me to the drugs, but yet and still, they charged me with them. That man admitted on the scene on his own that I had nothing to do with the drugs found in his car. They still arrested me and pursued charges against me. And the Second District Court of Appeals didn't consider none of that, just denied it. The lies are right there. I showed them to the appeals court, and they denied it. They ignored it. Why Second District Court of Appeals? Because I'm black. And the white people that lied on me, that commit these criminal acts against my civil rights, are white. So it's okay for them to do that. That's what the District Court of Appeals said to me when they denied my appeal, when they didn't even grant me a hearing, when they didn't even give me a chance to question these people about this fraudulent turn signal violation. They didn't give me a chance to question this Officer Z. Massey about this perjured statement. You lied. And the prosecutor proved that you lied. When they, listen. Ohio, Second District Court of Appeals are complicit in my deprivation of rights under color of law. They didn't even look at the evidence. The evidence is true. The evidence is real. And it's being ignored because it's to my benefit, because it's to the benefit of a black man. The law doesn't apply to you when it benefits you. That's what the Second District Court Appeals said to me when they denied my appeal. My evidence against whatever Springfield got to say, because I got physical material evidence. And the Second District Court didn't care. Don't matter, black man. If they say you guilty, you can prove the lies. It don't matter. It's whatever they say, not what you can prove. They need to be held accountable. I contacted everybody in Springfield, the mayor's office, the city council members, everybody ignoring this. I'm talking about it's blatant evidence that the Springfield Police Department lied. Not just, on paper, they lied in court. And all these people ignored it. They're ignoring it now. Is that guilty by association? When you know a crime's been committed and you just turn your head like you don't see it? You associate with these people. You talk to these people on a daily basis. Are you not guilty by association? Mayor, city council members, sergeants in the police department, the state's attorney's office, the head of Clark County, they're all guilty by association. And they need to be held accountable. You just can't take a man's life away from him just because you feel like it and fabricate evidence to do it. Springfield Police Department did that. Officer Z. Massey committed perjury. Jason Osborne conspired with Officer Z. Massey. Detective Jason Villa conspired with Officer Z. Massey. Lisa Horn, prosecutor Lisa Horn, conspired with Officer Z. Massey to commit that perjury. Sergeant Horn of the Springfield Police Department, he conspired with Officer Z. Massey to commit the perjury to get that indictment against me. They need to be held accountable. Simple as that. Because the law says they're wrong. Not me. The law says they're wrong. They're criminals. Period, point blank.